All right, all right, all right. Welcome to another grand assembly of the Tinfoil Hat Society. Here we will be discussing club business, and also I will be presenting a PowerPoint presentation over psychic abilities. First, we will start with our roll call. Starting with me, Luke Durcher, the veiled Aegis of the Obsidian Flame, guardian of the ancient forbidden fires that burn with unearthly wisdom. I am present. Scott, the Archon of the shifting parallax, master of illusions and dimensions unseen, weaving realities into enigmatic patterns. Are you present?
The veiled ages of the obsidian flame. I am a key.
Excellent. Joe Finch, the keeper of the ever-folding labyrinth, custodian of the eternal maze, where truths and riddles endlessly intertwine. Are you present?
Yep, I'm here.
Excellent, excellent. We have our members present for today, and now we will recite the club oath. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Show us the symbol of the Tinfoil Hat Society. The secret symbol. When you're ready, begin.
We
We
pledge
pledge to unravel
unravel
mysteries
the
most
mysteries
esoteric
most
and obscure,
esoteric and
to hoard
obscure,
knowledge
to
that
hoard
others dare
knowledge
not
that others
comprehend.
dare not comprehend.
Yes, what he said. All right. Now we will go through and inspect our headgear, our tinfoil headgear, which protects our third eye from the 5G waves and electromagnetic interference. Starting off, I will show mine. I won't take it off, though, to protect myself from the 5G rays. As you see, I have a larger pointy style captain's hat, reinforced with some reflective duct tape for extra sturdiest and extra bedazzled. Now, Scott Tedlock, the Archon of the Shifting Parallax, please show us your headgear for today.
Oh yeah, I made mine out of a leftover hot dog I got from a NASCAR race, but
That
it
hot dog
protects my
wrapper.
brain. But it protects my brain from the airwaves, the high frequencies that
Yes.
the government
Yes.
is initiating out into the airfield as we speak.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, Joe Finch, the keeper of the ever-folding labyrinth, please show us your headgear.
Yeah, pretty standard. I mean, I just kind of was dumpster diving and stuck my head in there and just kind of popped up and here we are. Received the invite.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, we will go through the meeting proceedings. Up first, treasurer report. Joe Finch, keeper of the ever-folding labyrinth, please report on the treasure business.
Yeah, you can see the tariffs have really been hitting us hard, as per member Scott Tadlock has mentioned. 750 a roll, ridiculous.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I don't know how
Oh yeah.
often.
Also, we've got the lizard people. They need more babies to eat. So I mean, there's some backup plan there.
I told them they should contact Hillary Clinton for babies to eat. We are not putting our fingers in that dirty business anymore.
Um, well, in regards to the obelisk maintenance fund and the secret tunnel expansion projects, we are underway, except there are delays for 6 to 9 business months.
Delays. What sort of delays?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Make sure you murder somebody over those delays. Someone should lose their life. Probably be burned at the stake or boiled alive, preferably. Thank you.
Yeah, good plan of action. Good plan of action.
Yes. Boil multiple people alive. Just for fun. Next. Please, go into the Shadow Archives audit. Scott Tedlock.
Well, your lordship, I'm telling you, these celestial beings are setting up these portals all around our communities and our farms, and they're taking our cattle and they're trying to have sex with them.
Oh.
But that is after removing their udders and their reproductive organs before sending their trash back
That's not
to Earth.
That,
They're getting green cards and they're taking our jobs.
well, we must do.
That's what I call a holla back girl.
I'm telling you, Luke, the Ark of the Covenant is the key, and I know where it is.
You do.
Miami.
Well, we'll speak about that in a skiff.
It's either
Send an
Miami,
expedition.
Oklahoma, or Miami, Florida, but I'm telling you, Luke, it is around here somewhere.
All right, I'll bring my sunscreen. Okay, that seems to conclude regular club business, society business. Now, I will get into my PowerPoint presentation, which I have prepared. Oops, sorry, I had that song set on from last time. Okay. Opening the presentation now. Everybody can see that? You see the slide?
Yes, very good.
Okay. Let me turn my echo off. Now that should be more regular voice. Okay. Now, I'll go through my presentation over my research into psychic effects. So, a little background on this and what got me into this. If anybody is following the UFO disclosure movement, sort of unraveling in front of us, you'll know about Jake Barber. And Jake Barber was the one that said he was involved with recovering crashed objects of a foreign nature, right? UFOs. And Jake Barber added some new information to ufology lore that really no one had ever heard before. And what he was claiming was that people on his team, when he was working for the whoever unnamed deep state employer or whatever he's working for, whoever employs him, said that they have an asset that can focus their mind and control a UFO with their mind and essentially land it so that they could recover it. And that's how some of these operations occurred, which that to me was, and I think to everyone, was a little bit shocking and mind-blowing. I think we all, if you also have been following the ufology topic, you would be familiar with the idea of being able to summon UFOs with your mind. There's someone who's sort of famous that does that, is Stephen Greer. He has a CE5 method, which claims that in a state of meditation, you could contact these UFOs and come make them see you, I guess. And he does this all the time for money, for gobs of money. He'll help you do that. So first
Yeah,
thing,
I
oh,
was gonna
sorry, go
say if
ahead.
you're good at something, why do it for free, right? If you have a talent, if that's baking
Yeah.
cakes, playing guitar, or telepathically communicating to aliens, you might as well get a little bit some change for it.
Yes, you're right. And his Stephen Greer's argument on why he does that is that he has this. I don't know if it's an official nonprofit or it's just some kind of group where they're working towards disclosure and getting these whistleblowers who want to talk about these secret projects protection and getting their stories out. And so, yeah, okay. Um, but about psychic abilities, so what I want to talk about is sort of the first this history of psychic research. So people throughout history have been studying sort of the question of whether humans can have psychic abilities. And the way they've done this is they've done like various sort of tests on people, right, to see if they can sort of have some sort of precognition effect on some scientific variable that they can test. And so I'll show you an example, and we'll do our own psychic test here at the end to see how psychic you guys are. But these are just simple cards, and they look like playing cards, but they actually just have a few different symbols on them. And the way this psychic test works is called a zener card test. Is they would, I would draw a card, for example, and I would look at the card, and then the subjectee would have to guess. And so that was done in various different ways over history, since the 1800s at least, maybe probably longer. And they found that people can guess these cards and things like that. We'll just use the cards as the example, but there's other various variations of psychic tests that were done throughout history. And they found that people could do these sort of tests higher than what you would be able to get just by guessing, probable chance. And so in this test, let's see, I think there's like 5 symbols. So if you guessed if you got higher than 20% right, that might indicate that you have some psychic ability. And researchers over time, since the 1800s, have known about this. Everybody who studies this subject like any serious scientist that tackles this subject knows there's something there. But the problem is that nobody's funding it. Officially, nobody's funding it, but somebody really is funding it in secret, which I'll talk about. But on the surface, at a university academic level, nobody's funding this. But it's been verified that this effect exists. Now, and I'll say a psychic effect, and that just means maybe you can guess higher than chance on some cards. But what does that actually do for you in your day-to-day life? Like you can't just go around reading people's minds. You obviously most people can't. So that's also been a question these researchers have tackled how to make use of this, and somebody has made use of this, but it's sort of a secret, which I'll go into. So different types of psychic abilities. This is just a picture I picked up off of Google somewhere, but telepathy, that's the ability to speak between our minds without talking. Clairvoyant, I believe that's just being able to feel other spirits, something like that. Remote viewers. Remote viewers is a big thing that I'll go into. in my next future slides, when I talked about that secret part of this, that's the meat and potatoes of what it is. Channeling ghosts and spirits. That used to be a big thing in the early 1800s. They would have ghost channeling parties where they would get together, and some person, whether they're real or whether it was a fake show, sometimes it was fake, they would all get together and try to talk to ghosts. And people don't do that anymore, but it used to be a common thing people do in their homes. Stanford Research Institute, that's one of the big names in parapsychology research. They're also one of the ones that have been named to have been doing this for the CIA, and the Army took it on at one point. And after they officially declared it wasn't effective, and I think it went black, and they were still doing it. But also there was the Scientific Applications International Corporation. They're also out of the Northern California area. I think that was kind of a hotbed for psychic research for a while. But they did sort of very rigorous tests of what I just mentioned. These just sort of like guessing, but very, very much more rigorous, like longer, more, unfoolable tests. And they found that the psychic effect is there, like undeniably. And next I'll talk about, okay, so this is a quote from Sigmund Freud. It no longer seems possible to brush aside the study of so-called occult facts. So Sigmund Freud knew, when he founded psychology, he knew about this effect and this sort of psychic aspect to human experience, and he purposely left that out of his psychology, his new field, psychology, because he didn't want it to be discredited. Because he knew that if he opened that bag and say that the mind has all this power and stuff, it leads to opening the door to other occult ideas and magic and things of the ancient past, which the Catholic Church and the scientific movement are against. So centuries of evidence. This is some more tests that sort of prove that there is sort of a psychic effect that can be measured. One of them was they did a galvanic skin conductance test on this guy who reportedly had a lot of strong psychic ability. And they found that his galvanic skin conductance did get higher once he was using his psychic abilities, and that's not even something that's not that hard to measure. You can probably get a device that could do it on your own pretty cheap, not that much. And next there was J.B. Ryan, Parapsychology Laboratory, Duke University, 188 Zener card tests show undeniable evidence, 175 trillion to 1 odds that these results would have happened just by merely guessing. Upton Sinclair, who was a famous writer at the time, he wrote a book about it. SRI International had a study in Nature magazine. Princeton University Engineering Anomalies Lab. I guess, okay, so this probably says it was the largest ESP study, and again showed undeniable evidence that ESP-like effects do exist. Now, I'm going to talk about this part, the shrouded in mystery. So,
and it always includes the CIA. The CIA is always involved. Anytime something is shrouded in mystery or is a conspiracy, the CIA is afoot.
You're right. Yeah. I think it starts with the CIA, these kinds of things, and then once they perfect it, or actually, early on it was the CIA, but now I think they realize that they have to do things through private companies, and so if you have a private company that can provide you psychics or whatever. You don't have to say anything about what they did to the public. There's no way to get those records because it's private company records. But anyway, I'm going to start with the sort of shrouded in mystery. I'm going to talk a little bit on sort of just some conspiratorial ideas I had. So, if you remember back in the 90s and before then, if somebody went missing in your town, right, and the police had no leads, sometimes they would call a psychic, right? And a psychic could sometimes actually find the people, right? And it was on the news. I'm not just imagining this, right? Have you seen something like this?
It was referenced in The Simpsons. I recall the same episode that Bart Simpson falls down the well. They bring in the psychic. It's like for a 10-second clip, if that, and the psychic does her little thing or whatever. Before ultimately him being rescued by Sting, the singer from the Police. But
I vaguely
anyways,
remember that.
it was big in pop culture though. I do remember that. So you're not alone.
Okay, but I that's a cartoon, but I think it was actually effective.
Yeah.
People actually effectively used it. And then sometime post 2000s, post 9/11, we stopped hearing about that. You didn't hear about a psychic on the news finding a lost child or something like that. And I almost want to feel like these sort of ideas about parapsychology and psychic effects were openly discouraged, like openly discredited, just like they discredited the UFO topic for so long and made it sound so ridiculous. This I think they put a little juice on this and say, hey, this psychic stuff, don't look into it. You're wasting your time. Don't. This is just a silly, trick. It's not real. So the CIA, they did in fact investigate psychic effects a lot and spend an untold amount of money on it. And their program, or just one of I think the main programs, which had many branch-off programs and following programs, was called Project Stargate. And that was started in response to some intelligence that the Pentagon got that the Soviet Union was also researching psychic abilities, and so they had done this on their own because they knew if just in case the Soviet Union found something effective, they wanted to find it first, right? So this project used various different code names, was passed around to various different agencies, CIA, DIA, NSA, and at one point the Army. And have y'all seen the movie The Men Who Stare at Goats?
I think I did actually, but I don't remember much of it.
That was about this project that ultimately went to the Army.
I could tell you who was in it, right? I think George Clooney was in it, and Ewan McGregor was in it.
Yeah, it was a pretty good movie. Good actors in it.
It was a long time ago I think late 2000s when it came out, right?
If you ever want to rewatch that, I'll give you a little background on it. So that started with the CIA, right? And the CIA had they did have some successes. Ultimately, they denied that, and it was successful enough to go to the U.S. Army and have them attempt to make a battalion of psychic warriors. Okay, and I even had a manual for this, which I wish I could have found, but they had a manual on how to become a psychic warrior, right? And so a psychic warrior, they said, has to act with peace. So what they did was their plan was they had a speaker that would play peaceful music that they would carry on them. and they would have flowers and scents, and this somehow would subdue the enemy into peace. So I think the thing about this and about this sort of psychic abilities is it's a sort of a hard thing to weaponize. It's something that works better when you're moving towards the greater good. If you're using this as a weapon or to hurt people, I feel like it's not as effective. That's just my feeling on it, on how it works. But they did use this project to find out what they wanted to do, or what they did was they got these people who were remote viewers, and what remote viewers could do was leave their body and go see other things, spy on other things, and they would draw pictures of what they would see. And they said that this is not that useful, but some of the psychics were reported as being pretty effective. And also too, I think if you were planning, like, say you're planning a battle on a battlefield for the army or something, and you have, potentially intel from this remote viewer who's maybe a very low percentage he's right, but you wouldn't, if you didn't have anything else to go on, you would probably want that info. You would probably want to know, right? Even if he's maybe wrong, it's a maybe. He's right. So you want to. I feel like they probably use it,
it's
but
anything and everything you get your hands on. I mean, it's potential evidence,
right.
perhaps.
It's probably just something you could say. Well, maybe it could be that's there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know yet, but let's just plan for whatever he thinks it is, and plan for many other scenarios. But
I will say, I was going to say the key to weaponization is control. And, when you talk about mind control and infiltrating enemy lines, how you were putting that, if somebody is under a mind control and they're going in, they're able to recover bits of information through drawings. I don't really know how controllable that is in order to weaponize it.
Yeah, so the way it works, the way the remote viewing works is, and it's not really well understood, but they wouldn't tell them where they were supposed to remote view. They had to remote view some coordinates that would be on a piece of paper, maybe in the handler's pocket or something, and then from these coordinates, they would somehow go to these coordinates out of body and see what's there. And it provide some intelligence. I know they did find some people that were lost on the battlefield this way. And I have some more. Okay, so this is decades of positive results. This is just a bunch of results I found. This is like from a pretty legit website. It's like National Science Foundation or something like that. But they're listing all the success they had with Stargate. So Joe McMoneagle, who was he was one of the people I think depicted in the movie. He was like the army guy that was trying to build this battalion of psychic warriors or whatever. But he won the Legion of Merit Award for providing info on 150 targets, which they wouldn't have given an award if he didn't give them anything useful. So I feel like he had, and he later, Joe McMoneagle, denied that he ever provided anything useful to them. But I mean, I think that medal says otherwise. No, I don't think. I think he probably officially denied it. So we had remote viewers that found Soviet testing facilities, found recovered a Soviet bomber that crashed in Africa, found a Soviet submarine, found kidnapped people, all kinds of. I mean, I won't even go through them all, but there's more than enough to show that the military did have some positive results with this. And a lot of times, what they do with things like this, and like the mind control is a good thing to compare this to. I think I'm glad you brought that up because with things like that, I feel like they get to an answer with their project and they figure out, okay, so what these are the things we have to do to mind control somebody, or these are the things we have to do to psychic spy on somebody. And they take that knowledge, they give it to a private company. The private company takes it over, and then now the government can deny all they could wipe their hands clean of it and say we don't know anything about that.
Yeah, they didn't mess with it firsthand.
Yeah, because it's a private company that
it's not a lie. Yeah,
and they could even they could hire that private company and say, well, they just gave us some intel, but we don't know where we got it from. We're not gonna we didn't ask them to reveal their sources or something. So they could absolutely still be doing this, even though they deny that they are. I strongly believe they probably still are doing it. So in a book I read prior to doing this presentation called Quantum or Entangled Minds by Dean Radin, and he was postulating on some ideas of how are psychic effects even possible? How does it work? Right? So you have this one researcher, parapsychology researcher, Rupert Sheldrake, which I really like, and he says that he has this thing called a morphic resonance field, and what he says that is he says our consciousness, the thing that is us, is not in our brains. It's in a field somewhere. It's some consciousness field, and where our brains are more like antennas, and they're just picking up on the field. And we're just like a node in the field. We have our own personal memories and personal feeling of individuality. But once we die, we just go back to the field, and we're joined back with the rest of the consciousness of all the universe. And he does even have some experimental evidence to support this idea. He says that, so there's this study done where, let's say a monkey figures out that he has how to crack a coconut. He figures out a way to crack a coconut. He hits it with a rock or something, right? He figures some technique. And he shows it to other monkeys on his island. The monkeys on his island start doing it. But they notice also the people on the neighboring island who had, not the people, the monkeys, on the neighboring island also picked up this technique at the same time without any contact. And so what Rupert Sheldrake says is what went on is when this monkey figured out how to crack the coconut, this sort of knowledge just joined the resonant field of all the monkeys, and they just kind of intuitively knew it. And so I like that idea. I sort of kind of subscribe to that idea. But one thing I will say, he's more of a philosopher. He's not he doesn't have any formulas or concrete physics. Anything's grounded in physics that explains that. It's more of just like a philosophy more than a scientific idea. But I'll talk about Dean Radin. He gets a little more scientific with it.
If I could comment real quick, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You remember being kids in the 90s and, you started doing something. It could be anything. Maybe you like to draw pictures of your own superheroes, or maybe you blew bubbles in your milk through your nose, and you thought that you were the only person that could do that. Kind of like the monkey cracking the coconut. He thought he was the only monkey that could do that. And then it wasn't until the invention of not just the internet, but social media. Now, whenever you are browsing through social media and you're looking at the videos and you're seeing people, and all of a sudden you realize you're not the only one that was doing that. Like, it kind of opens your mind to like, oh, I thought I was unique. I thought I was creative. Coming up, this was my idea. Coming up with this, and evidently it wasn't. And so that theory that you explained, you could almost apply that to human beings, human life, which I'm sure that's what the philosopher was doing, and it just kind of makes sense, like if but then again, I guess you were saying that was more of an afterlife kind of thing, that your body returns to that field of subconsciousness.
Well,
but I kind of wonder if you're always connected.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, you are connected.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I might have missed that.
Yeah.
What I've heard before is a theory that it's far fetched, but it sounds kind of plausible. After looking into it, where we're just basically we live the life in our own consciousness, but that consciousness is just in a simulation, like what Luke was saying. It just goes back to the node, and with our technological advancements, with AI and everything, that possibility is true, with a greater being out there that's able to put our consciousness into a simulation, and we're just living our own simulations, and then we go back to our greater being or node or whatever it is.
Our docking station.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could. Yeah, I guess you could compare that. He's not saying anything about we're in a simulation. He's more just saying this is real reality. But actually, when you die, you don't wake up in your docking station. You join the rest of humanity in sort of this energy field, as you're just this energy that exists as part of this field. And when you die, you just, instead of becoming an individual, now you just join the collective human consciousness.
Mm.
And so,
I think both ideas represent the idea of sharing content and our thoughts, that we're all connected. I mean, whether it be through a simulation and this is a program, and once we're in our docking station, everything's on the network, it travels through the Ethernet cable, and there we all are on the cloud. If it's not the cloud, then perhaps it's a field. And so, I mean,
it could be a cloud. Yeah, I mean, it's more.
Dude, we're in the Matrix.
That could mean that. I don't know. I mean, to support your idea about simulation theory, which is kind of a side discussion, this doesn't have to necessarily mean simulation theory, but scientists have found out that the atom is just energy. The atom is energy. It's not. It's a particle, but it's like condensed energy into a point, and that's what makes matter. So if matter is energy, then we're energy. So it could mean that somebody could just flip a switch and turn us off, and we just don't exist anymore. You're right. That it could be true.
In a way, the anti matter, basically.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to go off of a tangent there. I think all of our brain waves are connected.
I think so too. Yeah, I mean, how many unique thoughts do you think you have? I mean, I guess you would have unique.
Well, that's what I was saying. That was the point I was trying to make. Is as a kid, you think everything is unique. I used to stare at the ceiling and see like black dots whenever I'd close my eyes, but then come to find out, everybody sees that. You look at a light, and then you look at the white ceiling, and then you see those black dots. It's like, well, I used to think I was a robot. It's like, well, no, like everybody goes through that. Everybody thinks they're a robot. Mm-hmm. And personally, like, I didn't realize some of this stuff up until I started watching TikTok videos. And I'm like, okay, I used to do that. Like, I used to do that too, Yeah. So I used to think my thoughts were more unique, and then now I I'm starting to realize that we all have the same, or at least we all have similar thoughts.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the way I think of it is like you're there's this giant network of you could call it the cloud or whatever, and you're just a node in the cloud, and you have your own information. You store your own memory and of your own experiences, but that is just a part of a larger network. And when you die, the node just all the traffic that was going to the node just returns back to the source. So you don't.
Sender, yeah.
So
Does that relate to the phenomenon where somebody, say, gets the heart of somebody else and they start having memories of the person
oh
that
yeah,
they've
absolutely.
encountered? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great. Did that happen? Is there a story
yeah,
on that?
yeah. I've
Yeah,
heard of
it's a
that
real
too.
thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
There's a movie, I think it's called The Eye, with who was that inside the movie? It's like Jennifer Garner or something. And she receives a transplant of an eye, and she starts like reliving I think it was a murder scene or something along the lines of that. And
Hmm.
she was able to kind of solve the mystery of what happened to the person.
Yeah,
Is based on like real experiences people have.
It's pretty
I
cool.
believe it. Yeah, stuff like that does happen. Um. Okay, now moving on to in a more scientific territory, Dean Radin, who's a physicist, he says that these psychic effects, what he thinks they most likely are quantum entanglement between minds. So they know particles can quantum entangle across vast distances, share information. So he's saying that your brain has these things in it called microtubules, and the microtubules can listen for quantum effects. Like little just quantum effects between particles. And they're saying that if you're sharing a psychic connection with somebody, you're both listening in on the same psychic channel or whatever quantum channel. I don't know. I don't want to go into the scientific details of how it works, but basically quantum entanglement between minds. And I think that's probably our most scientific and concrete theory. There was another one which I'll talk about that was before that, before they knew about all this quantum stuff. But they say
Real
that.
quick.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, I go ahead, finish your thought, and then I have something real quick.
So they know that your brain and your nerves have electricity traveling through them, and traveling electricity creates a magnetic field. And so this scientist, Sir J.J. Thomson, said that maybe it's your electromagnetic fields are interacting some way, but that has been sort of disproven by Dean Radin, who found that the effects could occur across vast distances. So he's saying if it was an electromagnetic field, the effectiveness would drop off as you get further away because it would be weaker as you get farther away, right, in distance. And they found out no, that wasn't the case. So this quantum entanglement between minds sounds like it's the more likely explanation. And
I think it's very possible. I was going to say, secondhand blister from our Twitch. You can watch us on Twitch. It's funny when two people have the same intrusive thought, like tripping a child running in the grocery store.
yeah, maybe that thought was picked up by several people.
I could see that being a possibility,
Yeah,
yes.
maybe that thought is just like running out in the field, and everybody just picks up on it.
Picked
Too
up
good.
on it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I think I misunderstood earlier. Like I was thinking the entanglement didn't happen until after you shuffled off your mortal coil, after you passed on.
No, you can
But
entangle with anybody at any time when you're alive.
I absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Like I think that's 100%.
And typically, the entanglement is ends up being it is stronger between your loved ones, the ones that you
You
love the
know,
most, or
I think
spend the
the
most time with.
entanglement is what makes a loved one. If you think about it,
Absolutely, yeah.
have
Don't
you
you?
ever met somebody and you're like, you and me, like we're on the same wave, like we're on the same wavelength,
Yeah.
like when I met Joe and he was wearing a Bulbasaur shirt, and I got Pokemon Blue and my Game Boy in my pocket. I'm like, you and me, like we're connected, and here we are,
Uh huh. We both resonate with
25
the
years
same
later,
things.
we're best friends. So I
Yeah.
wonder
Yeah,
why
still trying to be
feelings.
a master.
Uh huh.
That's right. I'm trying to be the very best. Yeah, like no one ever was. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think we are entangled, and I think that is what brings us together. And I think you are definitely. I think that's almost what develops that social cliques, and I think that's
Yeah.
debatable. But you hang out with the people that you feel connected to, and maybe that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a good point. So maybe like a social clip is like a little subfield within the field. Everybody's like, oh, we're all tuned to this frequency. We all think thoughts like
Yes.
this, and we're all going to
Yes.
talk about these kind of thoughts. You know. And another thing that makes me think of I want to talk about myself a little bit, personally, and how I feel like this has played in my life. I've like had a very difficult time. I never really made a group of friends. Like probably when we had our apartment, that was the biggest group of friends I ever had. I never really had a group of friends like that ever, and I was always. I mean, I kind of had some friends along the ways, but never kept them or really felt that close with them. And I always felt like I've got my own vibe, and I don't want you messing with my vibe. I'm vibing over here. How I'm vibing, and I don't want your vibe messing up my vibe. I got a good vibe going. You know. But then that also kind of leaves me like feeling kind of lonely sometimes. Like I don't have friends. When I was in the Navy, I felt really lonely a lot of the time. I just felt like I just don't vibe with these people. I'm not vibing with this. I like to go home and be by myself, just kind of sit in
When
my
you
own vibe.
when you talk about the Navy, you're talking about a salad bowl of people. You're talking about people from all over the country, from all sorts of different backgrounds,
Yeah.
that are all being, mixed in, trying to intertwine with you.
Uh huh.
And I could see how that would be difficult to find your vibe, to find the ones that you can intertwine with.
Yeah. Mhm.
It
Yeah.
can't be easy.
It wasn't. No. And so the first place I was stationed at was Mississippi, and the thing I noticed there was people were segregated into like racial cliques, and the race, if the black people would only hang out with the black people, and white people, vice versa, Mexican people. There weren't very many Mexican people, but I didn't like that. I didn't think that was like I don't identify as just a white person. Like there's more to me than just white person stuff. So I didn't want to. And they had a very Republican conservative mindset, which I probably think conservative about some things, but I'm not. It's not all about what I'm all about and what I want to talk about all the time. It's not.
Yeah.
So I don't vibe with that. But I'll move on.
Yeah. So
Um,
then you retired, and the rest was history.
yeah,
You're
that's
like,
why I
I'm
didn't
out.
stay. Okay, that's the last of.
I stay in the know if you were following the know.
I am back,
Excellent. All right.
and it's time for ESP trivia.
Oh well. Do you want
Don't
to do
be
this?
too hasty on going into that bathroom. I had Taco Bell for lunch.
Okay. You want to do the psychic test? You ready?
Should I leave the hat on? I'd probably do better if I had it off, right?
Yeah, because J.J. Thompson said that it could be the electromagnetic waves, which that would block them. But it's probably not.
Okay.
But we'll just try it.
Luke, I believe that the three of us are on the same level.
So we should be able to do this fairly well. then.
Disclaimer, and I'm sorry, Joe, but I have an advantage here. Luke and I were born on the same day.
I was going to say that, yeah. That probably makes us more connected. Like, I don't believe in astrology that much, but maybe that is something.
My girlfriend, she bought a planner and she planted something in it, and she drew her sign and my sign on there, and she goes, "Yeah, you're Scorpio," and I drew it on there. I go, Sagittarius. But thanks, I appreciate the effort.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
But you guys are still together though, no issues, right?
Yeah, we're together, not on the same page sometimes.
Well, that's the caveat: is opposites attract, and
yeah, I
can
think
you
that
get?
women are supposed to like guide you to a new wavelength, or they're supposed to, because women are supposedly more psychically in tuned, and men are supposed to be more connected with the earthly things. But
I'm more logical.
right,
I mean, they're more emotional.
right. You're in the logical, analytical mind, and you want your female counterpart partner to be in more of a spiritual mindset.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right.
Keep it interesting.
Spiritual, logical.
Right. And both have.
And you
good
got to
points.
put your logic in the spirit.
You gotta intertwine.
Right. The logic and the spiritual side should come together and formulate a new way to live your life or whatever.
Come into.
Okay, so
Yes.
Come into, yes. Come into two, yes.
Come into.
Come
Together.
into-
Come in together.
So
All right, Scott.
Two becomes one.
right. So what I want you guys to remember are there's 5 symbols, right? And you're going to be guessing the
5.
symbols.
So to be clear, go ahead. You're going over them.
Right. So there's a cross or a plus symbol, whichever you would.
What do you want to call it? Cross or plus?
We'll call that cross. It's not a
cross.
It's not a Christian cross. It's more like a plus symbol. We'll call it cross.
Yeah, cross.
We have a circle. Easy. We have a square. We have a star, and we also have waves. Okay.
Okay. Hang on. Let me write that down.
Oh,
cross,
sure.
Squiggly line.
The squiggly lines are called waves.
Waves.
Cross and wave.
Circle. What's the other one?
That's what I need to know.
We got circle, square, cross, star, and waves.
Okay. Cross, square, circle, waves, star.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And the card that I draw will be any one of those, but you will have to guess. So I don't want you to guess too fast. I'm going to select the card. I'm going to say it's selected, right? I'm going to sort of do this sort of thing. Then I'll try to project the card out into the consciousness field, and hopefully you will pick up on that through quantum entanglement or whatever you have it. So there'll be 50 guesses, 50 tries.
50?
Yeah, sorry, it's kind of long. That's the way these work. You have to get a lot.
Okay, well, don't prolong it too long.
I'll try to go through it fast, but that way that you'll get a statistical answer of how
Understood.
psychic you got. Okay? So when you're ready,
Okay.
I'll start drawing, and then
Is there going to be a separate score here, or is this like together?
Yeah, I'll draw the card. No, it's not separate. I'll draw the card. You'll both get a
You're not-
guess, and then after you guess, I'll show the card, and then I'll tabulate your score on my spreadsheet.
Well, I think what Joe's asking is, are you tabulating the scores separately? So,
Yeah.
are you keeping track of me and Joe separately?
Yeah, so
Okay.
you'll get a point every correct guess you get, and then however many you get, that's your score. So
Okay.
we'll see. Okay, so if you guys are ready, I'll start drawing.
I am ready, Luke.
Okay.
Your lordship.
Okay.
I already know. I already know what you're grabbing. I don't want to say it aloud.
Okay. I am grabbing the card. I'm looking at it. Now, I'm projecting the card out in the consciousness field. Whenever you're ready, tell me your guess.
That's a square.
I was gonna say square.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow. That's good. Dang. First one.
just keep doing square every time.
Let's just end it. Let's just end it now.
Oh, wait. All right. Okay. Next one. I'm looking at the card.
You're not reshuffling every time. You're just going down the line.
We don't have time to shuffle it.
Gotcha.
No, yeah. I mean,
No,
I
I
already
mean-
shuffled it. Okay,
Okay,
so.
we good?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
Projecting a wave.
I was also gonna say waves.
No, this one was a circle. This
Okay.
time.
Okay. Yeah, let me write this stuff down too so I don't forget. So we go.
Okay.
Circle.
Next one, I saw the card and projecting the card out into the consciousness field. Whenever you're ready.
Cross.
Cross.
No, it was a circle.
I almost said that.
Oh, you have more circles? I thought you only got one.
No, I assumed it was shuffled. Like there's
Well, yeah.
a mix, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, next card. I'm looking at it. Now I'm projecting the card into the consciousness field.
Star.
A wave.
Scott said star, and Joe said wave.
I'm going to say everything's wave this time. Star.
Is a star. Wow. Okay. Scott.
The square goes in the circle.
Put it in. Put it in.
That
Put
was
it
a star.
in.
Next
So there was
card.
square, circle, cross, wave, and star.
Yeah.
Okay.
Square, circle. Right, okay. Next card. I'm looking at the card. I'm projecting the shape into the consciousness field.
Square.
Joe?
I was thinking the cross again.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Okay.
You even psychic, bro?
Joe got cross.
We're tied, Joe.
You
We're
said square.
fucking tied.
Was it cross? Okay. Next one. Looking at the shape. I'm projecting it.
All right, I'm feeling it.
Okay. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Waves.
Okay. Scott says wave.
I'm thinking it's a square.
Ah!
Whoa.
I didn't think. I knew.
Exactly.
Oops.
Oops. change it back. No. Right. You have to act on your intuition, not your analytical mind. Your analytical mind won't know.
Well, that is true. You do start to think about probability and like, well, he just
I'm
said
putting
this.
my head
What are
of
the
statistics.
Yeah.
odds? Fucking Joe's counting cards over there.
No, I'm feeling the wave.
Feel this, mother. All right, speak to me, Luke.
Joe, guess waves. Do you have a guess?
It's got to be cross.
It's gotta be cross.
Well, damn, Joe.
It was waves. Joe is on psychic fire right now. Okay, I'm looking at the shape, projecting it into the consciousness field. Whenever you're ready.
Circle.
I was feeling cross, but it's wave is the last feeling again. Another wave.
It was
Square.
Okay. Next card.
Star.
Okay.
Was square.
Star and square. It was a circle.
Oh. Well, that was my last guess.
Oh, okay.
I knew that was coming. That's why I said that in the last time.
Oh.
Wow, you were so psychic.
That's right. Before you even draw them, I know what they are.
A comment on that. So psychic ability can exist. You can premonition the future if you have psychic ability, because they say this consciousness field exists outside of time. So in this consciousness field's perspective, every moment throughout our physical reality's time is accessible.
Every
So
moment counts, Joe.
if you
So
could if you were
I know we're moving quickly, but the question is a psychic ability that, as people studied or thought that through dreams, is that like a psychic thing that could happen?
Yeah, that's also one of them. Yeah.
Premonition through dreams?
Yeah, you can do all sorts of things through the dreams, because they say that when you're dreaming, you're sort of in the state you would be if you were dead. You would go back to the consciousness field, and so anything you can imagine throughout time could potentially occur there, and you could interact with anything. You could go talk to somebody else in your dream. You could talk to a dead loved one. You could go see what happened on Mars a million years ago.
Yeah, like your not to sidebar too much, but like your alien story that you had. I did have a experience with my father who passed about a month afterwards. That was that'd be a story down the line, but a really interesting experience that I had with him.
Yeah, we'd love to hear you talk about that. Yeah, but yeah, moving on. So,
but Luke has 50 questions, 50 of these.
Right. So next card, I've got it.
Well,
right
maybe
here.
the next podcast we can talk about the dead.
Yeah.
Beyond the dead.
That's another one I want to do in the future. It's one on ghosts and the paranormal and afterlives and things like that. So definitely want to talk about that.
Alright, Luke, what do we got here? We got looking at the options here. I'm looking at through your eyes. We've got wave again.
Joe says wave. What do you say, Scott?
Circle.
It was a square.
Fucking square. That's what I said.
And we were in the middle. That's where we were in the middle.
Waves.
Did I not say that last time?
Okay. Next card. I'm looking at the card.
Wavy lines. Waves.
Square again.
It was the cross this time.
I did say lines.
He did.
Yeah. So maybe you're getting close, but weren't acting on your intuition, acting on logic.
I think you just weren't projecting good enough, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh well.
So try harder.
Maybe you're right. Next time I'll project it harder. I'm looking at the shape. I'll project it out into the mental consciousness field. Whenever you're ready.
Star.
Star.
It was the circle.
Mm.
Your game sucks. Boo.
Star. Okay. Number 13. Lucky 13. Lucky 13. What card are we looking at?
Star again.
Square.
Cross.
Did we just have that? No, we had the circle. Mm.
Yeah, this one. Star. Square. This. Okay. Next one.
Okay, let me just I need a deeper meditative state.
Sure. Whatever you
No
need.
more divided gel. No more divided gel.
Okay. Alright, I have the card.
Okay.
I'm looking at it.
We got a cross
And I
again.
projected
Another
it.
cross.
Star.
No. It was waves.
Mm. Not deep enough.
Okay, next card. Looking at the card. I'm projecting it into the consciousness field.
Square.
Nope.
Cross.
Nope. Star.
Oh, good job, Joe.
Oh, Joe got it? I thought you said
Kudos.
square.
Oh, didn't he say star? Oh, I thought he said star.
Did you say?
No, I said square.
You said square?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I was so deeply in my subconscious. I heard it from somewhere, like in the universe. I heard star.
Well, keep looking. Next one. I'm projecting it. See it?
I'm filling an X. There's a squiggle or square. Squiggle, square. Squirrel.
Circle.
Okay.
I'll say the wave.
Let's cross.
Mm.
Cross.
More crosses than I suspect.
Okay, next one, number 17. I have the card. I'm looking at it.
Waves.
Circle.
A star. Yes.
I think I spent all my energy in the first few guesses there.
Yeah, you must have used up all your psychic energy.
Yeah.
You must have. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That definitely must have been what it is.
Yeah.
I used it all up.
All right. I'm looking at the card.
Hey, may I suggest something?
Sure. Go ahead.
I don't want to discredit us, but if you mix alcohol with the experiment, does that
Possibly.
alter the results?
Possibly. If you feel like it does, then it does.
I feel like it does, yes.
Oh, then it does. Okay. All right. Well. Okay. So maybe we'll try it. Sober another time. But right now, this is.
Yeah, well, not. I don't think we'll ever get to that. Go ahead, Luke.
Maybe eventually. Okay, next one. I got the car.
Cross.
Circle.
Waves.
God, mother effer. Piece of.
I mean, yeah, I've had a few beers to drink too now, so maybe my psychic tuning is.
How do I know
out of
your
effect.
subconsciousness isn't in a ditch somewhere?
Could be, right?
Like on the spiritual highway. Just
Just
with your thumb out
asleep in a tent on a skid row.
in a bean field.
Yep.
Being pulled over by the quantum cops.
In a field of subconsciousness. Just, what?
Circle.
Okay, Joe says circle. Scott, you got it.
Square.
God, hey.
What are the odds, Joe?
Circle.
Maybe I need to collapse.
Okay. Next card. I'm looking at it.
If balloon was an option, I would think it'd be balloon. So
I wanted to say ace of spades, but it is not ace of spades.
I felt a balloon.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Cross.
Okay, so that's a cross.
I said circle.
Square.
Zap.
Okay. This next one I'll do a psychic tuning to bring us back into the mental coherence. Okay.
Cross.
Alright, good. Tune it up. Get some tuning on your psychicness. And I'm looking at the card.
Scott, get with this boy.
Square.
But it's a cross, though.
That's a star. Okay, next card.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
All right, Miss Cleo. What you got for us? We got I'm feeling the waves of you in a wave. Very wavy.
Okay. Yeah.
Square.
Star.
Damn. Fucking stars.
So there's 5 options. We've got 2 out of 5.
Well,
That's a 40% chance of getting it right. And we lost like 6 times in a row.
Yeah, you guys were doing good at the beginning. We just did that part of the test.
Feeling it. And then we got cocky.
Yeah, must have something thrown you off. Alright.
It's the pressure. It's the pressure of trying to get this right.
You're right, and
shove it.
another
it in Joe's
thing
face.
I'll mention that Dean Radden said in his testing is that these tests, even if you did find somebody that was really psychic and could do this really well, their effectiveness would drop off after a while because they just get bored with it because it's so boring to do this.
Well,
if you had to do this 500
Yeah.
or 1,000 times. Wouldn't you get bored of it?
No, I mean, yeah, but my answers were dropping after question 5.
But yeah,
That's interesting, feedback is, hey, I've got this test, it's really interesting, but people lose interest and they can be really good at first, but then later on it's not that great.
It's fucking
But take the
school.
test.
It's college.
Yeah.
It's like a Facebook test. How psychic are you? Answer these 3 questions.
Oh, you can't figure it out through 3 questions. That's why this is the way to find out psychicness in a scientific setting. This is kind of how it works. Is they can only do something like this, and then if you get some statistical odds that show that you guessed some more right at the time, that indicates psychic ability. But you're right. Other than that, there's not much else. There's the remote viewers did it, but so far nobody's nobody's really done anything super mind blowing. But they did have one of the guys involved with SRA International. One of the people hired by the CIA was Uri Geller, and what Uri Geller could do was bend spoons with his mind. And he was on the news. He was on TV a lot. He was on a lot of different things where he demonstrated this ability to, he said, bend spoons with his mind. And that's where the idea came from the Matrix. Is he said he could bend spoons, and all these people tried to discredit him, and say he was he was bending it with his thumb or something, but he could allegedly teach other people to do this. But you're right, like outside of, like, this isn't that useful. If you could, like, even if you were able to guess right 80% of the time or 70% of the time or whatever, some good ridiculous rate, like, so what? Like, does that mean you can go to the casino and guess what cars they're going to draw? I don't think so. I mean, maybe you could. But I'll continue on. I have my next card.
Real quick, on the Twitch, Contemplatives Coldings 0V says, best viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the space.
So what now? Best viewers on streamboo.com.
That's one of our comments. I just, no comment is too big or too small. I want to make sure that we go ahead and just address all of them.
You got all of them addressed, it seems, Slippy.
All right, go ahead, Luke.
So next card, I'm looking at it.
Square. Don't fucking shake your head. Joe hasn't answered anything.
I didn't shake my head. I was just itching myself.
From the Twitch, Secondhand Blister says, I'm guessing waves.
Oh, we have somebody else doing it too? Okay.
Yes, on the Twitch, Secondhand Blister.
I didn't make a calling for them, but okay.
Oh, I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Okay, Joe, what did you say? What was your... Or Scott, you already made a guess?
I got the cross.
Oh, what did I say? I said square.
Cross. Square. But it actually is, it's a circle.
Huh.
Next one.
How could 3 of us possibly suck at this?
I think he's swishing the old sleight of hand in the middle of our guess.
No.
Pulling it
what do you think, Secondhand Blister? What do you think, chat?
He says, damn.
Okay. Next.
All right, next one. Do it.
Yes. Square.
We're gonna do 2. There's gonna be 2 circles in a row. I don't understand why, but it's another circle.
Secondhand Blister says cross. Oh, Blister got it right!
Wow. Where?
Pit Blister on the record then.
Awesome. We have a psychic joining us. This is
Call me now.
the last one of the deck. I'll have to reshuffle after this one, but
We're finally gonna get it right.
Put it up to your forehead, please. I can't feel it. I can't feel this.
Finally gotta get it right with the wave.
Joe says waves.
Square.
It was waves.
Damn.
Yeah. Suck it.
All right.
I am psychically.
Well, 2HP also says square.
Oh, okay.
Damn is right. Yes.
Let me just shuffle the deck a little bit. The deck's not large enough for the entire test, so I have to recycle it. Put my
How many cards are in a deck?
Put my
52.
No. So this is
not.
like more like a magic trick psychic deck. I could have bought a more professional one, but this is cheaper, and it's only
Does
got.
that discredit the experiment?
No, it's the same stuff. It's just a card with symbols on it.
Is it the same though? If I make a phone call and I use AT&T or I use fucking Cricket Wireless or what's one of those Walmart brands? Hey, use
Metro, UPS or something.
Metro, yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like your signal is going to start dropping the cheaper route that you go via communication. Does that make sense, Joseph?
I think it does. Yeah.
It does. Because how
Okay.
many times has somebody dropped a call or lost a call and they were just like, hey, what service do you got? Do you have AT&T or do you have Verizon? And you're like, oh, I got AT&T. They're like, oh man, Verizon. Like, I keep losing connection out here. Like, I can't make.
Or you can be in the same area and the connection's strong with one and not so good with the other, and then you go to another spot and it's the other way around.
Man, fucking Joe, you have to move around the room, and I think maybe that's what I need to do is move around the room. I think we're on to something, Joe.
Well, I
think we're
didn't
fucking
pick
awesome
for the professional deck, but I have the silly magic card deck, and
Okay,
I've shuffled it with my best psychic intention, and so I'll just keep going.
Wavy lines.
Oh yeah, we're I think it's too soon for that. It's definitely a square.
That's wavy lines.
Sorry, Joe.
That kind of hurt.
2 HP said star, and then he said dang because he was incorrect.
Next card.
Twitch says circle.
Cross.
I'm thinking it is a square.
So I'm on the cross.
Okay, just
Cross contamination.
it's a circle.
Hey, 2 HP, you got it right.
Okay.
You get nothing.
You get an affirmation that you were right.
Congratulations.
Next card. Sending it to the quantum field.
Square.
Oh,
Wavy lines.
it was square.
Oh, God damn it. You took my fucking answer, Joe.
Yeah. Well, you didn't do the chant correctly, so.
Exactly. Get the chant right, bro. Come on.
Mishka, Mushka, Mickey Mouse! Mishka, Mushka, Mickey Mouse! Cross.
Okay. Joe?
We crossed. We crossed over. We crisscrossed.
You guys are right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 2HP. It's not a square, it is a... Well, you saw it.
Okay.
Dang, boy!
Next card.
Squiggly line. Squiggles.
I was gonna say waves.
Yeah, we're squiggling.
2HP says circle, it was a
There
square.
was a squat.
There's a
I said
square.
squat.
Move on.
Waves. Joey said waves, right? Squiggly lines for waves.
I said waves.
Yeah, waves. Yeah.
Did we
Okay.
both say waves?
Squiggly lines, waves.
It is not the same thing.
Circle. This is easily a circle. He's doing the circle finger action.
The circle finger action. Square.
Joe said circle, you said square, right?
Yep, Twitch the circle.
I said squircle. Yes.
Wait, what? I said square.
Yeah, you got it right.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know what the fuck I said!
If you act with confidence, then you're right.
Square, yeah.
Next card.
What if I need Jow? Oh. He's doing a line.
Yep, cross.
What do you got?
What were you guessing?
Cross.
I think that's a cross because you need some Jesus, sir.
It was
22
a
cross.
wave.
I knew there were some lines in there somewhere.
Oh.
How funny would it be if every card Luke drew, it was just a pentagram, like, on the card? Like, not intentionally, like, he draws, like, you know, whatever, and it just changes.
That would be messed up. I'd be freaked out if I saw that.
He starts talking in clicky tongue like.
Seriously, though, cross.
No.
You don't think so?
Circle. It's a circle.
Hey, you know, your mom's a circle.
Hey, let's leave our mothers out of this.
Your mother's a lovely lady, I apologize.
No, she's not. That's a lie.
Quit spreading lies and rumors about my mother. And if you'd like to call me, it's 555-7264.
All right. Okay, we're on a wave again. We're on the same wave.
Just says wave. What do you say?
Circle.
Cross.
Well, you already said that. That's not fair.
Yeah, it's not supposed to happen that way.
34 square.
Okay.
We're all
Good.
wrong.
We're
Keep
getting
trying,
off
though.
of that.
Don't let it discourage you. In your path to enlightenment, keep trying. Star.
Star.
2 HP on the Twitch says waves.
Yeah, it's a star. I'm with that.
Joe Scott says star. It was waves.
Ah.
Waves. Okay. Number 36. Looking at the car.
I think I need some 2 HB action here. Alright. Oh. Okay, I know it's a little soon, but I'm feeling the cross again.
I'm feeling the circle. It's always the circle.
Okay, just a cross. Scott's a circle. It's a star.
Okay. 2 HP's at the circle.
I said Squirtle.
Squirtle, squirt.
Okay.
All I can think of are your mom jokes. I'm sorry, Joe.
Number 37.
Cross.
Kong kong kong, king king kong king kong, king king kong kong. Square.
Joseph
2
Square.
HP's square.
It was a square.
I said cross. Oh, good job, guys.
Yes.
Okay, number 38.
I feel like we need to do like a sidebar and just play chess in the middle of each.
That's a thing on Twitch. You could play games. We could
Yeah.
set that up. Yeah. I don't know if
That would make it interesting.
do that, but
Connect 4 with another circle.
circle.
Connect.
Square.
Whoa.
I didn't say that. No, nobody said that.
Circle. Okay, last 11 cards.
Okay, here we go. The final stretch.
Oh, I feel dirty, but this is a square.
Penis.
Not a penis.
Square.
Okay, it was a circle.
Oh,
Two
Ball
square.
sacks. I should have guessed that.
they call me a gambling man.
Okay. I'm super.
Alright, I saw it in the future. When you saw it, was a square.
Square.
No, this is waves.
Square. I just don't get this.
Boo! From the Twitch. Boo!
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 Alright,
Your game sucks.
let's get this
This
next one.
channel sucks.
That's 10 or
I'm-
9 or so.
Alright.
Cross.
I was thinking the cross too.
It's a
Square. Says Twitch. Okay.
star.
Well, I knew there were some lines in there.
Number 42, number 42.
Cross route.
What'd you say?
It's cross route.
Is it what?
Square.
Cross.
You say it was a crunch wrap?
Cross.
You said it was a cross.
A
Cross.
crunch wrap. A burrito supreme. A gordita.
We have one delicious crunch wrap supreme.
What did I say? I don't remember what I said. Square.
Square. It was a star.
Wow.
I'll just put square for Joe, which means crunch wrap. Oh, you said, what did you say? Cross?
The cross.
Okay. Next
No, he said
card.
fucking Taco Bell or something. No.
Number 43.
Talk to me, Luke.
Hello, Mr. Number 43. What are you doing today? I'm gonna
Wave.
go. Who chose this wave?
I'm gonna say square.
Cross.
That's what I said.
I did see cross before.
2 HB said cross. Congratulations.
Excellent. Whenever you're ready.
I'm going to do wave again. Double wave.
Wave. Okay.
Seriously.
Square.
It was cross.
Oh,
Okay, last 5 or so.
So,
No,
Wave.
45.
square.
he's waving.
There's a circle.
Ugh. Hey, 2 HP, you got it right.
I think 2HP's got the psychic ability to know to be in here.
They must have.
Kill us in the second half.
Don't let the CIA find out.
They will deport you.
Yeah, they'll put you in their black projects. Okay. Next one.
It's real quick. That's one thing that my dad told me over the weekend is that the USA government was going to deport me. Yeah, that was that is-
Deport
It's
you?
bound to happen.
Why?
He said when the riots were going on Saturday, I don't know if you caught that. He said that the U.S. government thinks they could just deport anybody and everybody, and that they could mistake me as some sort of New Zealand, Dublin, fucking like European of some sort, and just deport me like that. I'm like, dude, you're high.
No,
not,
You're a cross.
Yeah.
You're a cross in the card.
it's ridiculous. So,
Sure.
anyways,
Whatever. Okay.
So you're cross deported, sir.
cross.
It's a lot of crosses here. Come on, man. Don't break any bones.
Joe's at cross too.
Yeah.
Okay. It was.
Crosses across the board. Oh, that's what we
Wave.
said, right? Wavy lines. Yeah, that's what everybody said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last 4.
We're back to our basic shapes. Pluses, minuses, circles, plus, minus, minus, plus, cross.
That's your answer?
What's your answer, Joe?
Yeah. I got the cross.
Plus, and what'd you
I
say?
said
Scott?
circle.
Cross contamination. Oh. Look
Fire.
at you, Mr. Psychic.
Scott has come back.
Okay. Last 3.
The squigglies, waves.
Circle.
There's a circle.
One hand clap, sir.
Last 2.
Bummer, dude.
Sorry, man.
Square.
Oh, that's too quick on that one. It's a wave.
It's a star.
That's what I tried to do. I couldn't do it.
Okay.
So.
For the very last
Just
one,
remember.
focus our
Remember.
psychic attention.
Star.
Did you already say it?
Oh, 2 HB got it. Yeah, star.
That's
I didn't say anything yet. I'm gonna say square.
I got it. Star. Okay.
Man, if you were in the room with me, I'd beat you up right now. You know, when you're playing a fighting game when you're a kid and your younger or older brother's beating you and you just like start punching them.
Okay, so Scott got a 9% accuracy, which is not very good, which is not any indication of any psychic ability. And Joe,
Okay.
I have to. Sorry, I added him last minute. So I have to. Yep. Okay. And then this one. Let's copy paste this. Oops. Oh, what? He didn't do that good, did
Who, Joe?
he? It said 50%. Oops. That's
No,
not
he
right.
did not. Your
No.
formula's broken.
Oops.
That's exactly what I got.
Mm-mm. I'm calling the CIA, Joe, if that's the case.
Oh, I didn't even get to the full part of the all that. So, shoot, I'm sorry. Let me.
Well, it looks like we got to restart now.
Yeah, I'll have to retabulate Joe's score later because I only made this for one person, not two people. Joe did.
Joe, your answers don't matter.
I think he did slightly better though. I think he.
Everything's made up and the points don't matter.
Clearly,
I think we're kind of about the same.
if I was 9%, Joe had to have been 15%.
Yeah, he was maybe only slightly better.
18%.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't bother with that. But what I wanted to say about this whole CIA business is people said that there was this kind of secret special gifted program that was called something like the GATE program. And what what would happen is if you were some person that they suspected of psychic ability, they wanted to get a hold of you when you were a child, so they would put you through this testing. And if you did well, then they would ship you off to. This is gonna sound crazy, but the Stranger Things series, it was based on that. It was like they to say that something along the lines of that happened, and even this idea of people opening interdimensional portals and weird, creepy creatures coming out is also a whistleblower saying that really happened. So I don't know what you want to believe about that, but I like Stranger Things, but it is crazy.
That was great.
It's a
All
good show.
Makes me think of there was a game that came out years ago, but it's America's Army. It's like supposed to be like an army simulation where they used to recruit people. So they use tests like this to try to find psychic people as well.
Yeah, that's sort of the the lore in this. Is people say that they were going through this testing. They would set aside if they found somebody that they thought was gifted in this way. They would set them aside and put them through this testing, and if they passed it, they would be sent to like a special X-Men school or whatever, and
Right.
taught
School for the gifted.
yeah, and taught how to do this this thing that I mentioned at the beginning episode, where this whistleblower said that they could pilot a U.S. alien craft home. That must have been the goal, right? That if they could get, that's what they want to get, right? They want to get if they can get a hold of one of those craft, that'll be a big asset. That'll be very valuable. So that's sort of the lore in this.
A couple of comments that I had with this zener test. Did I say that right? Zener test. How do you know if it's really telepathy and not just luck?
Well,
that's why you have to do
a lot. Yeah, that's why you have to do a lot to prove that it's not just chance.
Right. So I don't think it's the fact that I'm 9% telepathic. I think I'm just 9% lucky.
Yeah.
Which my mom would tell you it's not very lucky. And then my other thought, last week we were talking about MK Ultra and the studies of LSD on folks, and I was just, my theory behind drugs in general is that they have a tendency to unlock these wavelengths that you don't typically have access to. Anytime
Mhm.
you're on mushrooms or hallucinogenics, I guess in general, it always seems like you're on a broader wavelength. And I know anybody that I've ever tripped with, it always seemed like you were on the same page. You know what I mean? And maybe that was just the drugs talking,
Mhm.
but have there been studies of a test or similar test with somebody, under the influence of
Mm.
hallucinogenics?
That's a good question. I I'd never read about it. I haven't read about it yet, but I feel like
But
it
doesn't that
has
make you
to.
wonder, though?
Yeah, I feel like probably has to have been studied. I feel like maybe that was the CIA's territory, because I think these studies that Dean Radin is talking about is more mainstream science studies, but maybe behind the curtain they did. I think they probably did try that. They probably did try
Well, you would
hallucinogen.
think so,
Yeah.
and Kurt, I can't be the only one thinking about that, and maybe through my subconsciousness, out in the field of thoughts and dreams, somebody else is thinking about that too, and I'm sure it's happened.
Uh huh. Yeah. I do think like psychedelics.
Uh,
Uh, maybe like I think what it does is psychedelics destroy it inhibits your filter, so you're not filtering out all the different because you only focus on the part of
that
the
filter, yeah.
the wavelength that is you and your identity and your history and your past and your consciousness, your ideas. You're not thinking about somebody, everything else. And when you take the LSD or something, it's like your filter goes down, and now you're getting all these other signals from all these other places, and it seems confusing and weird. But you're just like you're tapping into the higher consciousness.
I would agree with that. From the Twitch, those studies are legal in Oregon. It's used for mental health studies.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely I can see that. It's not they mental health, but not. I mean that's another realm from the psychic world. Like this, they're not testing psychics, but I'm sure there it does have a
Well,
benefit on
that's
mental
true.
health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, but I don't know. Anytime that I've ever tripped with anybody back in the day, it always seemed like we were on the same wavelength. So,
Yeah, like you almost tune into the same thoughts. Like,
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Something to investigate. So
mm-hmm,
maybe more to come on that. I don't know.
mm-hmm. All right.
But other than that, though, I enjoyed the test. Joe, do you have anything?
No input on that. I'm a clean boy.
Well, I am too.
Joe is slightly
Now,
more psychic.
well, isn't that a thing?
Mhm.
If you've killed a few brain cells in your time, I mean, does
No,
that
no, it doesn't affect it. No, because you're
brain cells or even IQ for that matter?
no, yeah, because people actually people there's this thing called the telepathy tapes, and they found that people or they claimed in these telepathy tape studies, which a lot of people want to dispute, is that these people on the autism spectrum, these nonverbal kids on the autism spectrum, have high psychic abilities, and they can actually just tune into their like especially their caregivers' senses, and
Man,
like basically you could see what mom sees and feel what mom feels because they're way more in
oh
tune
my
because
God,
their
yeah, I know.
logical
Yeah,
analytical side is broken, so they can't analyze, they can't think analytically. So now they're just more in tune with the field. So having a damaged brain or something like that, or even just from drug use or something like that, wouldn't necessarily cut you off from being psychic.
dude, I think autism is a great point.
Is that why they're so in tune with certain, like
Yeah.
their
abilities.
Yeah, that's why they say.
They're so good at it.
Yeah, the book I had talked about it, and they said that's why. So, like, you have these autistic people that can solve very intricate math problems, off the top of their head, and it's not because they say they're computing the answer; it's because they're tuning into the answer's already out there, and they just know how to tune into it and find it without computing it like we would, like you'd draw, you'd have to think about.
We have to imagine, basically.
Yeah, they just basically just pick it out of the field and just said, hey, yeah, okay, yeah, you know what that one is.
Well, I think these are all great thoughts.
I think so too. I think it was a good episode. I'll
Yeah.
close out. And
Well, I will say thank you for watching us on Twitch
in our
or
tinfoil
whatever
society.
social media platforms you might be watching us on, or maybe you're connecting with us via ESP,
Excuse me.
telepathically, or through different wavelengths. So either way, thank you for tuning in.
Absolutely. And closing remarks for the Tinfoil Hat Society. We will be meeting next time, a place where shadows meet sunlit truths, and we will exit in a orderly and overly ceremonial fashion. And
Okay,
with
well,
that,
can we hurry it up because I really gotta pee.
yes, that you may go. That's all I have.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night, Jim.
Good night.